Today's topic I want to talk about on the Kirk Miller Podcast is a subject which is incredibly close to my heart, and that is how I live with unwavering confidence. It ties in with my mission, my why, basically why I create this podcast, why I coach, because I'm someone who has lived without it, and it's let me down at pivotal moments in my life, and I'm now someone who lives with it, and I know what I choose. And for me, it doesn't matter how successful you are, how great your business is, whether you've got a six-pack or not, or how other people perceive your life to be, if deep down in your heart you know you have a higher level of confidence that you are desperate to bring out. So if you're listening to this podcast, and if I was to ask you a question of, if I was to ask you how confident you feel internally with your emotions, okay, with your self-worth, your self-acceptance, and out of 10, that was below an 8, then I really believe today's podcast episode will help plant some seeds of how we can take your confidence to another level. As you know, the three pillars that we are trying to create with all our clients in I'm Built to Last, of course, is to build a world-class body, superior mindset. But for me, the big one that trumps all of these is to live with true confidence, internally with how you feel and externally with how you look. Because I think if you lack confidence, I mean genuine confidence, it will let you down when it matters most. It will let you down in a relationship. It will let you down at pivotal decisions when making big sales, negotiations, maybe even leading a team in your business. And if you don't have the confidence that deep down you know you are desperate to live with, it could let you down when you're trying to influence those you love most in the form of your kids, your partner, friends, family, etc. Okay? So it's my absolute mission to help try and take that to another level. Because I think if you don't have confidence as well, or the confidence you desire, and I'm not trying to say if you listen to this that you're broken in any way, shape or form, but if you're capable of feeling more confidence and having more confidence, then we would just want to try and explore how we can create that. Because I think if you don't have it, you care too much about what other people think. You are badly affected if you are ever rejected. You get more controlled when something wrong happens, or you fail in anything in your life, and you operate from a place of fear. And I think deep down, if you don't have the confidence you desire, it will prevent you from truly expressing yourself in any given area of life. Okay, because I think from my experience, having coached so many successful people, you know, they may have confidence in certain areas of their life, like generally in business, when you've mastered a skill set and you've been so obsessive in that area. But if you've got cracks in other areas, whether it's to do personally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, then why wouldn't you explore trying to sort of tick those boxes, okay? And I think when you have a business in particular and you have a family, you can't give what you don't have. In order for other people to believe in you, right, and truly see that confidence, okay, because that nothing for me builds trust in your word, in your actions quicker, then you have to have it first. You can't give what you don't have. So my mission with anyone listening to this podcast and within my coaching program, even my team, my family, is to try and really squeeze out as much belief and confidence from you as possible. But before I go into 8 points I wanted to talk about today, or seeds rather, that I wanted to plant, I wanted to really be transparent. And I know I've maybe touched on snippets of these, you know, in my first couple of podcasts, but 3 examples of when I lack confidence and how that let me down at pivotal moments. And I think if I had the confidence I had now, then, you know, I'd have made a different decision. Okay. I would have, been more courageous. First example, of course, of me not having confidence was when I turned down Manchester United at the age of 13. Confidence, belief, I think they're tied with each other. But deep down, I didn't have the confidence. I think when you are fearful about making a decision that deep down, if you had more confidence, you would make, in that moment, there's something telling you you are not enough. You're not quite good enough. Okay? So if you've ever made decisions in your life over the last 3, 4, 5 years, even, you know, in your teens, childhood, and if you look back and think, you know what, if I had more confidence, I'd have took a different decision. I'd have took that risk and tried to step up and tried to push through that self-doubt. In that moment, you decided you weren't good enough. At the age of 13, I decided I weren't good enough. I didn't quite have the confidence. okay, when I turned down United and obviously signed for Coventry and later failed with that safe option, okay? And I think the second example of me not having confidence was during my Coventry years. So even though I took the safer option, when I signed for Coventry, I look back from the age of 17 to 20 when I was at Coventry, and I think the margins in professional football, if any of you guys have either watched or played football, are very, very small, with the difference of, either making it or not, or going to that next level or not. I saw some players that maybe weren't the best players when they first went into their apprenticeship or young professional contract, but they just grew in confidence and momentum over that 3 years and then made and had great careers. And there was other players who maybe had a little bit more talent, and maybe I was one of these people, but didn't quite have the confidence needed to go to that next level. I think a prime example of someone, don't get me wrong, he was immensely talented too, or is immensely talented, is Cristiano Ronaldo, okay? There is no fucking way that man would have achieved or become the footballer he has if it wasn't for unbelievable confidence. Not being afraid to say, I want to be the best player on the planet. I will be the best player and I'm going to do whatever it takes. I think so many of us, and me included for many, many years, were embarrassed to say, I want to be the best at something because we're fearful of what people might think, and it's not being arrogant when you say these things. Because if you think about, say, Cristiano Ronaldo as an example, by him saying, I'm going to be the best footballer in the world, I'm going to win the Ballon d'Or, God knows how many times, be the greatest goal scorer, whatever he said, deep down, even though that's for him, deep down, by him becoming that footballer and achieving that status, he's made millions of people so happy, and he's probably created so much hope in aspiring footballers that, this is a guy who started off as a winger, was getting ridiculed for doing too many bloody stepovers on a wing, and then went on to become the greatest goal scorer in football in history and be, for me, the greatest footballer that's ever lived, just through sheer confidence, and just believing in himself. Okay, but I know I definitely didn't have that at Coventry during those 3 years, and that let me down when it matters most. Okay, I let too many things affect me. If I had a football match and you'd have a few bad passes as the game kicked off, I'd let that affect me because I just created this unrealistic expectation that I had to be perfect. Okay, and it just shattered my confidence a little bit, and it'd affect my game. And then the third lesson, I suppose, in lacking confidence for me was in 2009. I think I shared this on episode 2 when I spoke about winning the men's health competition in 2010. In 2009, obviously I missed a phone call from the men's health team who were calling me to obviously tell me I'd made the final. I missed the phone call. I called them back a week later, which was ridiculous really. And obviously I was a little bit naive and despondent with life at the time, because obviously I weren't on this earth to be a plumber, which I was at that period. But I think being really transparent with myself in 2009, the reason I didn't ring Men's Health back, for the best part of a week, which obviously led to me to them giving my place to someone else, was I just lacked the confidence. I still didn't believe in my heart that Kirk Miller from Coventry, council estate, that had failed as a footballer, was quite good enough to win a men's health competition. So I think it was my confidence and belief that let me down, more than anything else. All right. And in those pivotal moments in my life, I think with no confidence, or not the confidence needed internally, I decided in those moments, whether I knew it or not at the time, I'm not quite good enough. Okay. And I also, I'm not going to highlight specific examples, but I also think that not having confidence at certain periods of my life affected me in relationships, where a relationship might be going super smooth to start with. But then when the relationship got a little bit challenging, you just didn't have quite the self-worth and confidence needed to sort of speak up and just be truly transparent with yourself. Of course, some of these relationships, they were never destined to work anyway, but I think if you are letting something or someone affect your confidence, then it's not their issue, it's yours. Of course, there are horrible people on this earth, that, do set out to make people feel bad. But I think whether it's a social media comment, whether it's someone within your business, or even your spouse sometimes, friends, family, whatever it may be, who is potentially affecting your confidence sometimes, that is a cue that you need to work on yourself and your emotional control, your emotional consistency, and your own confidence, okay? We can't blame other people, as I'll come on to in a second, all right? But on the flip side, I think if you can develop phenomenal confidence, you'll ooze certainty. People will smell it when you walk into a room. Your kids will see it, okay? It will help them believe that they're capable of living with more confidence. I just think you live with more fulfillment. You live life on your own terms, and I think you become a magnet for better opportunities, better relationships, better friendships, and I think just doors generally open more. When you're living with confidence. If you probably look at some of the people on social media that you look up to, or maybe on TV, I can guarantee one of the traits these people have is confidence. Confidence, I think, it naturally helps someone become more significant. You put them on a pedestal a little bit more, which for me, again, if you are putting too many people on a pedestal, thinking, okay, they're better than me, they might have achieved more, have a certain skill set that you don't have, that's another thing we need to squash, okay? Because all of us are on this earth and we have unique skill sets, unique traits, okay? So, of course, we want to look up to people that provide hope and inspiration, but just know you have traits and things that you are fantastic at that other people don't have. So for me, don't stop putting people up on a pedestal, when it comes to confidence, because if they can have it, so can you, okay? If someone has achieved success, they've just probably mastered a skill set and grew in confidence and significance in that area. And if I was to ask you, tell me an area of your life that you feel really, really confident with, okay, and why, I can guarantee at some point in your life you didn't have confidence in that area, but you probably implemented some of the things I'm going to go through today that have helped build confidence in that area. And if you've achieved confidence in one area, you can do it in another area, okay? But sometimes we just put a bit of a mental block, in certain areas, whether it's to do with our finances, whether it's to do with our business, whether it's to do with our body or our emotions, okay? And before I go on to the 8 points that I want to share today, okay, just from a behavior perspective, discipline, there were certain things that I did that helped build confidence, and that was just really start looking at my day-to-day habits and how I was optimizing my lifestyle, really, focus on how can I live with more energy, because if you're not optimizing, your physical energy, your mental energy, again, you're not going to have the energy, to grow in confidence also. Okay, but surrounding myself with better people, optimizing the people I surround myself with on a daily basis massively helped me grow in confidence, and operate with a win mentality or an opportunity to improve at all times. Okay, and basically, I suppose from going from that period where, in particular, from the age of 20, I suppose further back to 13, but definitely from 20 to 26. I took responsibility. I stopped playing the victim, so you can never truly optimize confidence if you're playing the victim and you're focusing on who you're not, and what you don't have. Okay, so we need to take responsibility if we know we're capable of living more confidence. All right. So I'm going to go through, 8 seeds or points that I recommend as clear action steps, if we're going to really try and build more confidence. All right. Number 1, focus on building your character. Focus on building your character. Okay. Every day, evaluate who you are and who you want to become. What is your ideal self? Okay. For me, irrelevant of wealth, success, status, body, no one can take nothing away from you if you are kind, honest, hardworking, respectful, and you focus on building your character as much as your body and your finances. Okay, so work daily on your personal integrity. What do you want to stand for? Am I looking to grow as a person? Am I someone who helps other people? Am I someone that, even though we don't do things we've got to do things for ourselves first, but when your life story is over, how would people describe your character? Because I think if we look at great people on this earth, okay, who we look up to now or previous greats that walked this earth, they've all had immense character, okay, especially in sport, business, and personal development. So focus on you building your character every day. Ask yourself when you're setting yourself up for your day in the morning, are my actions, my decisions, the things I'm scheduling in my calendar today that I'm actually going to do, are they developing my character? Are they making me become a better person? Okay, because when you become a better person and you start valuing yourself more, okay, that's how you grow in confidence, all right? Number 2, practice self-acceptance. Again, this ties in with obviously belief, of course, but I know for me, I labeled myself for many years a perfectionist. And I think it's the biggest form of insecurity and bullshit on the planet. Okay, you can have high standards and you can set exceptional sort of KPIs and metrics within your life, okay? But don't tell yourself a story that you're a perfectionist, because for me, you'll set such an unrealistic expectation that you're never going to be quite fulfilled, okay? And it's the formula for unhappiness, all right? And I think sometimes when you have this perfectionist mentality, like even if you achieve great things, personally, professionally, financially, emotionally, whatever it is, you'll still find a way to focus on your faults and what you haven't done. And okay, and of course, you want to have elements of this to some degree because it keeps your standards high. But be comfortable with who you are, right now. But always believe you're capable of becoming more, of course. And learn to forgive yourself for poor decisions quicker. Like learn to forgive yourself for poor decisions quicker and mistakes you made in the past. Because we can't live with true confidence and genuine self-acceptance for who we are, how we look, and how we feel if we're dwelling on the past and past stories, if we're dwelling on mistakes. So often the things that hold us back, and I know this me for many, many years, and every now and then you fall into old habits of this, is dwelling on the past, and mistakes. And ask yourself when you're doing these things, is that story that I've been telling myself all these years, is it holding me back, or is it going to moving me forward? Am I doing anything about it? Because I think so often we do this. Okay, so practice self-acceptance. You are enough as you are, but always believe you're capable of becoming more. Number 3, focus on your thoughts. Focus on your thoughts, and in particular, your core beliefs about yourself. All right? So, if you are feeling like you're lacking in confidence internally, or maybe every now and then you tell yourself, I lack confidence in a given area of your life, whether it's confidence to train consistently or train effectively, the confidence to plan and eat better, the confidence to influence someone for the better, or the confidence to take your body simply to another level, change that language pattern, okay? Change that thought process, to something like, I'm an incredible person, working on my health every day. I'm an incredible person that is capable of building a better body. I'm an incredible person that can tick all the boxes. I'm capable of anything I truly put my mind to, all right? And, as we know, thoughts control how we feel, and ultimately our life is, or the quality of our life rather, is down to the conversation we have with ourselves on a daily basis and the thoughts we feel on a daily basis. Really try and control the meaning that we place on thoughts that come into our mind, okay? Because there's so many different quotes out there, but one in particular, really simple one is, thoughts become things. So if we want a better outcome in a given area with how we look, how we feel, and to live with more confidence, really start respecting and evaluating our thoughts more, because what we focus on, what we think consistently, will become our reality at some point. Okay, they will influence our actions. All right. So be really guarded with the meaning you place on things, because that will change the whole experience and definitely affect confidence. And then number 4 is, and it sounds so simple, but it's so simple not to do at the same time. Make a fucking plan and stick to it. Make a fucking plan and stick to it. Nothing causes a lack of confidence more, or creates a lack of confidence more than inaction, right? So often in life, you know, we might say, I want more confidence in a given area. I want more success in a given area. But do we actually have a plan to make that happen? Right? And if we do have a plan to make that happen, are we sticking to it, or are we contradicting the outcome and the confidence we want in that given area by inaction, or just simply not having a plan? Okay? So action boosts confidence over and over again, especially with food and exercise. Okay? Obviously, one of the things that is going to help you become more confident is expanding identity, as I've said many times in previous episodes, with how you see yourself. Okay? There's a reason why people have Botox, people have tattoos, people buy fancy designer clothes. You're trying to change how you see yourself and deep down become more significant and feel a bit more confident within yourself. And also probably you want to create more confidence from people, how people see you also. Okay. And of course, like just in relation to making a plan and sticking to it, one of the things that's going to help you obviously create more confidence with how you look is how you eat and how you exercise. So do you have a plan that's going to make you eat better, train better, and move more? And if you do have that plan, are you actually sticking to it? Because if you're listening to this podcast, right, one of the reasons you probably listen to this podcast is for tips, tricks, insights into how can I actually consistently start looking better, and as a byproduct, living with more confidence. So if you are listening to this, do you actually have a plan that's going to help make that happen? And if you don't, what can you do right now to start creating one? And if you do have a plan, fucking stick to it and watch your confidence grow. If I was to ask you, tell me a period in your life to date that you felt a lot more confidence with your body, with your energy, just with how you were showing up, naked, when you're having sex, when you're on a beach. Sounds a bit specific, but deep down, like when no one else is around, these things matter. I can probably guarantee that you had a more structured plan with your food and your training, okay, and you were following through on that. And success leaves clues in your life to date, all right? And think of an area of your life again that you feel really, really, really confident with. I can almost guarantee you had a plan, you had a vision, you had a target, and you just stuck to it, irrelevant of the roadblocks, irrelevant of the setbacks, okay? So another thing to ask yourself when you hit a bit of a roadblock with confidence, okay, is analyze what are the areas of my life do I have lots of confidence that on the journey to having confidence in that area, what did I say to myself when I hit a roadblock? What did I say to myself when I first doubted whether or not I had the confidence to go to that next level? Especially like for a lot of people, it's going to be their business. I'm pretty sure it weren't a super smooth straight line to get to that next level in business. To have that confidence in your business, in your career, what did you say to yourself the first roadblock you hit? How did you stick to the plan towards that outcome that you wanted? All right, and how can you use that in relation to building confidence with your mentality and your emotions also, and of course your body as byproduct. And some of these, of course, do cross over, but number 5, take ownership of your actions. Okay, you can never grow in confidence by playing the victim of your circumstances or events or other people. Okay, nothing loses self-esteem quicker than not taking ownership for your actions. When we pass the buck, pass responsibility, we lower our self-worth and self-esteem in the process. So take ownership for all of your actions. Okay, the next time you have a dip in confidence or start making excuses, ask yourself, how can I take ownership of this? Right? What can I do right now to push through my own bullshit and step up? Number 6, ignore the naysayers. All right, I know this is like an Arnold Schwarzenegger quote, but I'm sure you'll agree, Arnold Schwarzenegger, God, if there's one man on this earth who has lived with unbelievable confidence from an early age, it's him. All right, he had doubters through his bodybuilding career, obviously when he went into politics, when he went into movies, but just unbelievable mindset to just ignore the naysayers, ignore people who were trying to bring him down and tell him he couldn't achieve something. All right, and I know it's easy to say and often harder to implement, okay? But if you continually remind yourself, just ignore the naysayers, ignore the people that are doubting you, okay, then you're more likely to go forward. You're more likely to progress. You're more likely to build more confidence. Because what's the other option? You get controlled by naysayers. You get controlled by people who say you can't achieve X. Because let me tell you this, and I've had it with clients, all right? When you're trying to go to a new level with your body, okay, as I keep coming back to, you're going to have to expand your identity, right? You're going to have to start seeing yourself differently. But people, and quite often it's loved ones, your family, your friends, business colleagues, when you start dropping loads of weight, right, and you start gaining more confidence, you start gaining more physical fitness, more vibrancy, you will have people that really care about you and love you trying to pull you back because they're not used to seeing you with that more confidence. They're not used to seeing you with a better body, right? So people will try and get you to play small. You would have had it probably in business when you might have outgrown friends and colleagues and stuff who like were fearful because you're going to a new level of confidence and success in business. You've had people try and pull you back and try and make you play safe. All right, and you're going to get this with your body and with your confidence. So you need to ignore that. All right, when people blame, hate, or criticize, or tell you you're obsessed, or oh God, why are you doing that? What do you have to do that? Fucking ignore it. Remember, you have a choice how you react when people start telling you can't do something. You have a choice when people tell you you're not good enough to achieve a better body or to go to that next level in business or to achieve that more confidence. You have a choice how you react, and that's your responsibility, no one else's. Okay, you can't control what's chucked at you or said to you, but you can certainly choose how you react. Okay, are you going to fold or are you going to step up? Are you going to take control and just say fuck you to anyone who doubts you? All right, because the right people will stay with you. The right people will encourage you. High performers will drive you forward. Right? There's a reason why I'm so precious about who we take on inside Built to Last, because I know that the culture that we've created are fucking go-getters who, don't feel threatened when someone puts up a win that they've dropped 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, or they've achieved a fucking 100 PBs on the bounce in their workouts or something. Okay? Because if, there are people who feel threatened, that are negatively influenced when someone says they've achieved a new level of success or they've done something well, then that person really who's sort of feeling threatened, they're the people that need to do the work. That's insecurity. They're the ones that need to do the work on their emotions, on their beliefs, okay? And probably need to take more action themselves, all right? Number 7, gratitude and wins. Focus on what you're doing great. I think in life, we're so quick to tell the world what we're not doing and focusing on our losses too much, but focus on what you're doing really, really well, just as much. Of course, we need the setbacks, we need the losses to grow, learn, create more, become more, but focus on your wins, appreciate what you are. And often, not even big wins, focus on the small wins you're doing on a day-to-day basis, because that will build fucking immense confidence. Obviously, one of the things we do inside Built to Last is have a daily checklist for all of our clients, from habits, training, like mindset, food, any lifestyle habits perhaps. But the reason we have these is these small wins that our clients tick off, they build fucking confidence because it feels good when you're ticking off things, when you're doing what you said you would do, all right? Watch how your confidence grows. Notice how good it feels. One of the key questions or things I say to my clients and our team do when our clients are getting momentum is notice how good it feels when you're actually ticking off small wins. All right? Because you need to feel good about the small wins if you're to truly value the bigger wins and the bigger milestones. Okay? You have to enjoy the process. And in order to do that, and what's going to develop confidence along the way is ticking off the small wins and acknowledging it. And reinforcing that I'm doing well here. I'm an implementer. And focus on gratitude. Like so often when we are lacking confidence or we have a dip in confidence, stressed, overwhelmed, okay, we're not grateful. We're focusing on too much on ourselves and being overly selfish. Okay, so be grateful. Gratitude for what you have, it gives you a different warm feeling when you are genuinely confident. So be grateful for all the things that are chucked at you in life, okay? But gratitude really, really does help build confidence. Again, it's just, for me, it's another way of like creating self-acceptance also for what you have, who you have in your life, you know, and what's to come potentially. All right. And then the last one, this is the biggest thing for me that I suppose it ties in a little bit with like having a plan and sticking to it. But more importantly, like, keep your promises to yourself. Be true to your fucking word. Be true to your word. Tell yourself the truth, right? If you say you're going to do something, follow through, right? As I've said during this podcast, think of an area of life that you feel really, really, really confident with. I can guarantee that you keep your promises to yourself more in that area. You keep your word. You follow your word up with ruthless action in that area. And from my experience, a lot of business owners who are successful but don't have the body they want or don't have the health and the energy they want, okay, they keep their promises to themselves all the time in their business, but not with their personal standards, not with their personal project management, okay? And if you're going to go to another level or want to go to another level in your business and really maximize your impact and influence within your family, so your kids follow a great example with how you carry yourself, then keep your promises to yourself also, right, with your own personal standards, right? Tell yourself the truth, right? If you say you're going to do something, follow through on it and watch confidence grow, okay? Watch that momentum grow. And that's that. 3 questions, even though I've sort of brought up snippets of these questions throughout today's episode, you know, questions for me are a very powerful tool to self-reflect, especially when it comes to confidence. Sometimes you have to ask yourself some really ruthless, honest questions, right, with no one else around, to like really try and explore where and how you're going to build more confidence in a given area. Right. Number 1, which one thing from the 8 things I've spoke about today, or anything I've spoke about from the start of this podcast, would help elevate your confidence most right now? Which one hit a chord a little bit more with you, you know, with your emotions? Like, which one thing that I've spoke about today will help elevate your confidence most right now if you either thought a certain way or you just started taking action with that thing? Number 2, if someone you love was lacking confidence right now and came to you for help, what advice would you give them? Because so often, and I've been this person too, we are so great at dishing advice when someone we love and care about is stuck, but we don't heed that same advice. And the thing is, if we are like smart enough and aware enough to give someone a certain piece of advice, then we have the capability within ourselves to actually implement that advice ourselves. So what is the advice you would give to someone you love and care about if they were lacking confidence, whether it's your kid, a colleague, a friend? And then ask yourself, am I actually implementing that advice myself? Or if I did implement that advice myself, how would my body potentially go to another level? How would my confidence, you know, my significance go to another level? All right. And number 3, if you had more confidence, how would life get better? If you had more confidence, how would life get better? Write it down. Write down as many reasons why, personally, professionally, like emotionally, financially, opportunities. Just write down, how would your life get better if you had more confidence? Okay? Because as I said, and this is me included, even though I spoke heavily today about living with unwavering confidence, I never get complacent with it. Because I think when you overconfident, that's when bad shit happens. You make mistakes, you get sloppy in business, you get sloppy with personal standards, body can go to shit a little bit, okay? All right? But just, if you know that you are, if I was to say to you brutally, honestly, how confident are you with how you feel and how you're showing up across all aspects of your life, and you're not on 8 or above, like, I encourage you to really explore these avenues of how you can become more confident, right? But what's going to help you do in that is having multiple reasons of why and how your life will get better by having that more confidence. And finally, even though, again, I've said this throughout the talk, I always like to end with a quote. And it's really simple. And I wish I'd have been aware of some of this simple, you know, at those pivotal moments that I shared at the start of this podcast, you know, when I felt I didn't have the confidence and I didn't have the belief and it let me down. quote is, I am enough and I can achieve anything I truly put my mind to. So the next time you have a moment in your business, or when you're setting yourself up to try and obviously build a better body, okay, just any single aspect of your life, like tell yourself, I am enough and I can achieve anything I truly put my mind to, because I guarantee you've already done it at certain moments in certain areas of your life, and if you can do it in one area, you can do it in another. So I know that might sound a little bit deep, but I just wanted to be, as transparent as possible. And yeah, it's just my absolute mission that anyone I speak to, I connect to, who like you guys who are listening to this, if you know in your heart you're capable of having more confidence, then I just want to try and squeeze as much of that out of you as possible, because I know when you are truly confident, you start living life on your own terms, and just amazing opportunities and things happen. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.